The Cardinals have found themselves at the basement of the NFC West for half a decade, not finishing above 500 since 2015. Since that time, the Cardinals have changed their entire coaching staff and nearly their entire roster, and they may have just found the right combination of pieces to be competitive once again. Offseason prior to last season saw the Cardinals replace the two most important positions in football, the head coach and the quarterback. Cliff Kingsbury came in as a very controversial replacement to Steve Wilks, as Kingsbury was fired from Texas Tech after a losing season. But Steve Keim and the Cards front office saw what they liked in the leader of their team and wanted to pair him with a new leader, as Arizona took Kyler Murray with the first overall pick to run the offense. Kyler immediately inherited some solid weapons, as Arizona added 4 pass catchers through the draft to add to a receiving core, including future Hall of Famer Larry Fitzgerald and dynamic youngster Christian Kirk. Keim continued to go all in to add pieces for Murray during the season, as he traded for Kenyon Drake in the middle of the year, who in 8 games in the desert rushed for 8 total touchdowns and averaged 80 yards on the ground per game, ahead of dynamic backup Chase Edmonds. And that's just what Arizona had on the offensive side of the ball. The defense was littered with talent as well, starting with Chandler Jones. Jones is one of the most underrated pass rushers in the league. He consistently terrorizes opposing quarterbacks, amassing double-digit sacks in the last 5 seasons, including leading the league in 2017 and coming just a half sack short last season. He was also named to the All-Pro team and a Pro Bowl last year, but he isn't even the most recognizable defensive player in Arizona. That notion belongs to Patrick Peterson. Pat Pete, granted not as dynamic of a playmaker as he used to be, is still one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL, and he led a young secondary featuring 2019 rookie Byron Murphy and Pro Bowl safety Budda Baker, both of which went to the University of Washington. Cardinals also have a leader in the middle at linebacker with new addition Jordan Hicks, who was signed over in the offseason from Philadelphia. Last season, Hicks was 3rd in the league in total tackles. With all that being said, if there was a glaring hole for the Cardinals last season, it was certainly the offensive line. Kyler Murray, a notably mobile quarterback, was sacked 48 times last year. The offensive line has been a problem in Arizona for a long time, but Keim is rapidly trying to improve it, as last season Marcus Gilbert was added to the squad, but he suffered a season-ending injury before the year and couldn't see the field. Let's cover our bases and see where we are. The Cardinals have a young head coach who looks like he may have the potential to be a very good offensive head coach, a brand new dynamic quarterback with talent around him in the air and ground game, and talent at all 3 levels of the defense. So, what's the next step during the offseason for Steve Keim? The answer to that question is easy. Add more talent. Arizona added Jordan Phillips, who is coming off a 9.5 sack season as an interior defensive lineman, which is one of the top marks in the league. They signed linebackers Devon Kennard and Devondre Campbell to bolster their linebacking core. And finally, they absolutely fleeced the Houston Texans out of the best receiver in football, DeAndre Hopkins, acquiring him in exchange for essentially only David Johnson, a contract Arizona was trying to get rid of, and a 2nd-round pick. That brings us to the NFL Draft, where Steve Keim once again hit a home run. Granted, we haven't seen any of these prospects play, but I believe that Arizona drafted almost exactly how they needed to and got steals at every selection, starting with the most important, Isaiah Simmons. Simmons is a positionless defender. He can rush the passer, play linebacker, safety, or corner, and will fit into the new hybrid/rover position that we see popping up more and more frequently in today's NFL. He can rush the passer to help Phillips and Jones, he can roam at linebacker next to Hicks and Kennard, or he can play in the secondary alongside Pat Pete and Budda Baker. Simmons is the perfect player for a team like the Cardinals, who have talent on all aspects of the defensive end, but need to add some depth. The 3rd-round pick was just as much of a steal as the first. Josh Jones, an offensive tackle from Houston, was a projected 1st-round pick and fell all the way to the 3rd to a team in Arizona who needed an offensive lineman and was once again a perfect fit. Throughout the draft, Steve Keim surgically maneuvered his way through the draft, taking underrated talent that fit positions of need with every selection. Am I jacking Steve Keim off a little too much? Okay, I'll stop. In review, the Cardinals have a quarterback that has the potential to be dangerous in today's NFL. A coach and organization that believe in him and that continue to put the right pieces around him, including the number one wideout in football, and a defense that can back it up on the other side of the ball as well. With all this being said, Arizona might still be the worst team in their division. And that's just a byproduct of how dominant the 49ers, Seahawks, and Rams are in the NFC West. All I know for certain is that the future is bright in Arizona.